You walk away from the conversation, and for a few minutes, everything seems fine. The door closes, the phone goes quiet, the room changes. But then, while you are brushing your teeth, sitting in the car, or lying in bed, one sentence comes back. Then another one. You remember the way you said it, the pause after it, the look on their face, the moment you laughed too quickly, talked too much, stayed quiet too long, or maybe sounded colder than you meant to sound. And suddenly, the conversation is not over anymore. It is happening again inside your head. Only now, your mind is slowing it down, zooming in, and searching for the exact second where you might have ruined something. From the outside, people may call this overthinking. They may tell you to relax, move on, stop caring so much. You may even tell yourself the same thing. But here's the thing. When you replay conversations after they end, your mind is usually not doing it because it enjoys suffering. In many cases, it's trying to protect you from a social danger it cannot clearly measure. The danger is not always what you said. It's what your words might have meant to someone else. Maybe they thought I was annoying. Maybe I sounded stupid. Maybe I shared too much. Maybe they were only being polite. Maybe they are going to remember me differently now. The replay begins because your brain is trying to answer one painful question. Am I still safe with these people? That may sound dramatic, but belonging has always mattered to human beings. Being accepted, included, understood, and forgiven is not a small emotional luxury. It is one of the ways people feel secure in the world. So when a conversation contains uncertainty, your nervous system may treat it like unfinished business. A strange pause, a delayed reply, a weak smile, a look away, a message that feels slightly shorter than usual. Your mind may not see small details. It may see possible rejection. And this is why the replay feels so urgent. You are not simply remembering. You are investigating. You are looking for the mistake, because if you can find it, maybe you can fix it next time. Maybe you can say less, smile more, be calmer, be funnier, be easier to like. The replay gives you the illusion that if you review the past carefully enough, you can control how people see you in the future. But then comes another layer. Your mind usually does not replay every conversation. It returns to the ones that feel unfinished, the ones where someone was harder to read, the ones where you wanted warmth but received silence, the ones where you were vulnerable for a second and then wondered if you should have stayed hidden. Ambiguity creates an empty space, and an anxious mind often fills that space with danger. That is why a normal pause can become a whole story. Someone looks away for 2 seconds, and suddenly your brain begins building a case. They were bored. They were judging me. They wish I would stop talking. I made it weird. None of this has to be proven. The uncertainty itself becomes the trigger. You are not reacting only to what happened. You are reacting to everything your mind believes could have happened underneath it. Psychologists often use the word rumination for this kind of repetitive thinking, but in real life, it does not feel like a clean concept. It feels like lying in bed while a tiny moment from earlier becomes larger than the entire day. It feels like trying to edit a conversation you cannot return to. It feels like being trapped in a courtroom where you are both the accused person and the judge. And this is where people often misunderstand you. They may think replaying conversations means you are self-centered, as if you believe everyone is focused on you, but often it's almost the opposite. You may replay conversations because you do not automatically believe you were received kindly. You do not fully trust that people understood your intention. You do not assume that an awkward moment will be forgiven. So your mind checks, then checks again, then checks again. For some people, this pattern can come from earlier emotional environments where small mistakes felt expensive. Maybe criticism came suddenly. Maybe silence meant trouble. Maybe someone important became cold, disappointed, or unpredictable without warning. Maybe you learned to study the room before the room could hurt you. So now, as an adult, your mind still watches tone, timing, facial expression, and mood like weather signals before a storm. This does not mean every person who replays conversations has trauma. It does not mean there's one simple cause. But for many people, the habit is not random. It's an old protection strategy. Your mind learned that social mistakes can cost connection, so it reviews the footage, hoping it can prevent the next mistake before it happens. Here's what nobody talks about. Sometimes you replay conversations not because you think you are important, but because you care about being good. You want to be kind. You want to be understood accurately. You do not want to hurt people, look arrogant, seem needy, sound boring, or make someone uncomfortable. So after the conversation ends, your mind compares who you meant to be with how you might have appeared. That gap can be painful. You knew your intention, but you cannot fully know their interpretation. You knew your joke was harmless, but maybe it sounded sharp. You knew you were trying to connect, but maybe it looked like you were trying too hard. You knew you were tired, but maybe your face looked unfriendly. The replay begins because your mind wants certainty about something no human being can fully know.
But the darker part is this. The habit that starts as protection can become a cage. You may begin speaking less, not because you have nothing to say, but because silence gives your mind less material to punish you with later. You may apologize too quickly, explain too much, edit every sentence before it leaves your mouth, and monitor yourself so closely that connection starts to feel like performance. And the real cost is not just exhaustion, it is self-trust. Every time you replay a conversation as if there must be a hidden flaw, you teach your mind that your natural way of being is suspicious. You begin treating yourself like a problem that needs constant supervision. Even when people are kind, part of you may still search for the evidence that they secretly are not. But there is a healthy version of this trait. Reflecting after a conversation is not bad. It can mean you are considerate. It can mean you care about your impact. It can help you notice when repair is actually needed. The problem begins when reflection turns into self-attack, when learning turns into punishment, when awareness stops helping you connect and starts convincing you that you are always one sentence away from being unwanted. Healthy reflection asks, is there something useful I can learn? Painful rumination asks, what is wrong with me? Healthy reflection allows other explanations. Maybe they were tired. Maybe they were distracted. Maybe the pause meant nothing. Painful rumination chooses the harshest explanation and calls it truth. So when the replay starts, the goal is not to shame yourself for replaying. The goal is to notice what your mind is trying to protect. Is it protecting you from rejection, from embarrassment, from being misunderstood, from being too visible, from being ignored? Because often the real question is not, did I say something wrong? The real question is, why does it feel so dangerous to be seen imperfectly? Maybe the conversation was not perfect. Maybe you interrupted once. Maybe your story went too long. Maybe your tone came out strange because you were tired. But imperfect does not mean unforgivable. Awkward does not mean rejected. A strange pause does not mean exile. A human moment does not cancel your worth. You are allowed to leave a conversation unfinished. You are allowed not to know exactly what someone thought. You are allowed to be liked without performing flawlessly. You are allowed to be remembered as a whole person, not reduced to the one sentence your mind keeps dragging back into the light. So if you replay conversations after they end, it does not mean you are broken. It may mean your mind learned to treat uncertainty as danger. It may mean you care deeply about how you affect people. It may mean you are trying to earn safety through perfect self-control. But you do not have to become perfectly edited to deserve connection. The goal is not to stop caring. The goal is to stop turning care into punishment. You are not meant to spend your life replaying every moment to prove you deserve to belong. You already do. If this helped you understand something your mind has been doing for years, stay with this channel. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and watch the next video, because once you understand these hidden patterns, they become much harder to control you in silence.